Nowadays, we live in a globalized world in which problems are not limited for national borders. Our main problem concerning the political situation in our country is that citizens have lost their faith in politics. For us, as active members of PASOK, the biggest progressive party in Greece, it is crucial to find a way in order to make people believe not only in politics but in their own potential. How do you believe that we can achieve this?
I no, I think it is healthy to be distrustful. That is to say, I think that um, it's not. It's often couched as the person. The person is untrustworthy. It has nothing to do with the person. That is to say, any person, me, any person, right, in the position is untrustworthy. Why? Because the dynamics of the position are such as to cause the person to, with all the goodwill and with all the good desires imaginable, to behave in certain restricted ways. It is built in structurally. It isn't the case that every leftist who has become narrow and limited in their goals, right, and insular and even top down or authoritarian, has done so to enrich themselves. Just look, that's not the case, right? They often are doing it out of devotion, out of wanting real change, but they are constricted and constrained. It's like if I was made the CEO of General Motors tomorrow, uh, and I wanted to do good instead of doing bad, right? What would I do? Almost nothing, right? I am restricted. I am constrained by my position, by my responsibilities, by the daily activity that I must engage in inside this institution, right? So restricted that there are grave limits on what I can do. If I try and do too much, I get thrown out. But even beyond that, the steps are just not institutionally allowed. The same thing happens with political structures. So the solution to the problem of political parties having politicians and leaders at their helm who over time lose their roots and lose their agenda and become part of the overall social process isn't um, taming those people. It is changing, as you asked in the earlier question, changing the structure of the organization, changing the accountability and the internal dynamics of the actual institution so that there aren't a set of top people and a whole bunch of followers, so that there's a party of participants. There may be people who play different roles. There will be. There may be people who play prominent roles at various points in time. There will be. But there are not people who have a monopoly on knowledge and information. There are not people who are irreplaceable. There are not people who are not recallable, et cetera, et cetera. What the exact structure will look like, I don't know. But the key thing to to do is to think structurally, to think institutionally, to think about the roles and the arrangements of responsibilities, not the personal characteristics of individuals. That is not the most important thing. Most, not that it doesn't matter, but it is not the key thing. It's easy to find somebody who at the outset is good. What's hard to do is set up an arrangement that is such that the person's goodwill will persist. That's what's hard. And that's what we have to